So I'm out here at Holland Haven Nature Reserve again today, and I've got this Contax RTS with me. I picked this up recently as I'm looking at getting into the system, and I thought I would come out here today and put it through its paces. I've got this Sigma 24 2.8 on it at the moment, and I know of course the reason why you get into the Contax system is to shoot the Zeiss glass, and I do plan on doing that in the future when budget allows. It is quite windy today, so I'm not sure on what sort of shots I'm going to be able to get. It's proving to be quite testing conditions at the moment. So I've got Fomapan 200 loaded up in this Contax RTS today. I did shoot a test roll through this camera the other day just to make sure that it was all functioning correctly, and I'll show you some of those results now. I've always found this little lookout post here quite interesting. The wood's quite weathered on it, so I thought this would create quite an interesting subject to photograph. Just came across this tree that's obviously been felled for quite a while. I can have a little wander around it and see if I can find an interesting composition that I like the look of. Now the thing that's quite nice about this lens is that it actually has a reproduction ratio of 1:4, so it does allow me to do some nice close-ups with it. It's coming up to that time of the year where stinning nettles are sprouting up in woodlands across the whole of the UK. They can create quite an interesting subject to photograph. They do have a lot of texture in them, and I'm going to try and use this Contax RTS today to try and bring some of that out in a composition. I always find it interesting when you're wandering woodlands like this and you find small plants just like this one here that's managed to grow inside a tree. Soil can collect in the trunk, and then obviously that allows a place for a plant to grow. It's quite interesting seeing that interaction in nature. Some really interesting texture on this fallen tree here, and I think this is probably one of the more interesting compositions that I've come across. There's some odd fallen branches and twigs laying across the log, and it helps create quite interesting textures and shapes in this particular composition. So it's coming up to the last few frames in this RTS, and I'm just going to wander around this tree that I found a short while ago. There's lots of interesting textures on this one, and I think it'll be a nice test not only for this Sigma lens but for the Fomapan 200 that I've got loaded today, as I am pretty new to the film stock. I have been developing the few rolls that I have done in FX-39, so that does work quite nicely, and I was pleased with the results that I got the other day. So I've just finished off the roll in this Contax RTS today, and I don't think any of the compositions that I got were particularly interesting, but it should be a nice test for this Fomapan 200. I am new to the film stock, so I'm still sort of getting to grips on how well it can perform in terms of exposure and getting the best tonality out of it. I'm going to be developing this film in FX-39 today, so that should be quite a nice pairing with that film stock, and I'm looking forward to seeing how well it performs. It's been really interesting wandering the woodland today and shooting with this Contax RTS. In practice, it's a fantastic tool to use. I love the way that it feels and how it works. The light metering button just on the front here makes complete sense, and it's easy to use if I just need to quickly get a light meter reading. I love the fact that it obviously has that aperture priority mode as well. I can just simply come along, find my subject that I want to photograph, set my aperture focus, and the camera will obviously deal with the shutter speed for me. So I hope that you've enjoyed the video today, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. It does help the channel out going forward. There's going to be more content coming up with this Contax RTS in the future, so stay tuned for that, and I do have plenty of large format content coming up as well. Take care and thanks for watching.